No stars replied when I whispered their names. I light a candle near the window. The wax drips like time I can't hold. I write you again to a world I don't know. Dear reader, stranger, whoever you are, this is the 73rd letter, and still the silence is kind. Today the wind brought a petal, pink torn, but it smelled like rain. I thought of cities you might walk in. Do your skies ever sigh like mine? Clouds pass slowly like ships of memory. I send words with wings made of ink. My chair creaks like a friend sighing. Loneliness here is not empty, just wide. The tea cools before I finish, but I leave it anyway. Like the past, a bird landed on my balcony. It looked at me like it had read my soul. I asked, have you seen him? It tilted its head, then flew west. Sometimes I pretend your eyes are the moon, so I can't believe you look back. The ceiling leaks on rainy mornings. I catch the drips in pages I no longer use. There's a map here I never followed because it always pointed inward. My pen stutters on rough thoughts, but I let them bleed onto paper. The silence answers kindly, never cold. It says keep writing. I imagine you in a quiet room. Maybe you hear this wind too. My breath fogs the glass, so I draw a sun just to pretend. Do letters matter if no one replies? I don't write for answers, only for flight. The sky shifts from blue to gray like emotions I don't name anymore. I speak aloud, hoping clouds carry my voice. Each word becomes lighter as it rises. There's no name at the top of the page, just a pause where a name used to be. I remember laughter soft like falling leaves. I press that memory between paragraphs. One night I heard a knock, but it was just the wind changing its mind. Still I opened the door and waited just in case dreams come walking. The floor is warm beneath my bare feet, but I still wear socks out of habit. I ask myself, if this letter never lands, does that make it less real? No, it just means it's mine alone. I saw a cloud shaped like a hand today, and for a moment I waved back. I once knew a boy who danced in rain. I hope you still remember how to dance. Some mornings feel like velvet, some feel like glass. This evening is both, and I sit in between. My tea is cold again, but I sip anyway, because even forgotten things deserve attention. Bell above the door hasn't rung in years, but I dust it every week. I hum old songs with no lyrics, but the notes still carry weight. Once a comet passed so close I cried, not from fear, from recognition. Tonight the stars blink slowly as if they're listening. So I write, dear future, dear memory, dear maybe. If you find this letter, know that I meant every word, even the pauses, especially the pauses. Let the ink smudge, let the pages wrinkle. If they reach you, let them stay. And if they don't, let them be wind. The wind led me down a path of silence. Trees opened their arms without a sound. The moon watched gently, not as a guardian, but as someone remembering how to feel. sound like a forgotten name. I didn't speak, the air was enough, the hush was sacred. Fireflies floated between the leaves. They blinked in a pattern like a song I almost knew. There was a bench carved from old stone. I sat in time, slow to a heartbeat. I touched a flower with trembling hands. It didn't wilt, it glowed warmer. The garden knew me before I arrived. It remembered my footsteps from dreams. I closed my eyes and saw colors not painted, but felt. There were no paths, only invitations. Every direction felt like home. I walked between lavender and memory, and neither asked questions. A vine brushed my shoulder gently, like it was checking if I was real. The trees whispered, but not in words. They spoke in warmth and gravity. One flower opened as I knelt. Inside was a name, not mine, but familiar. I didn't read it aloud. Some things are meant to echo, not be said. I found a stream that flowed upward. Its surface reflected moments I hadn't lived yet. Birds slept on branches made of light. They dreamed of sky and I dreamed of peace. I felt smaller than a seed, but more rooted than I'd ever been. The soil beneath my feet hummed, not with sound, with presence. Somewhere in the distance, a soft chime rang like a breath. I followed it without fear, because fear cannot survive here. A circle of stones pulsed like a heart. In its center, a single bloom of stardust. I reached out and it didn't resist. It accepted my touch like a memory returning. A breeze passed through me and left behind something lighter than hope. The garden dimmed slightly as if exhaling. It was time not to leave, but to carry it with me. I turned around, the gate was still open, but I knew now it always would be for those who truly needed to find it. And I had. tapped softly on the old tin roof, like someone remembering how to knock. I sat with knees to chest, wrapped in the same hoodie from years ago. The sky was gray but not sad, just quiet like a voice resting. I watched droplets race down the window, betting which one would reach the edge first. The city below hummed like a distant song, familiar but far. A paper airplane lay beside me, still folded from a childhood wish. I hadn't touched it in years, yet it hadn't moved without me. Steam rose from the cup in my hands, warming fingers that trembled gently. I traced raindrops with my fingertip, letting each one become a memory. There was laughter here once, it echoed in the puddles now. A chalk drawing faded by water still smiled through the blur. I whispered names into the mist and they didn't echo but stay. One tile on the roof was cracked like the moment I first felt alone. I closed my eyes and heard footsteps, not real, just the kind you remember. Someone once danced here, their shoes still scuffed the corners of memory. The scent of rain on old wood smelled like stories I never told. I held my breath, not to stop crying, just to feel still. Wind moved through my sleeves like hands that used to guide mine. I heard a piano from somewhere below, or maybe it was just the rain forming melody. My reflection in the glass didn't blink when I did. I smiled not from joy, but from recognizing who I used to be. The clouds shifted slowly, like time being kind for once. I saw a shape in the fog, not a ghost, just a goodbye that lingered. My tea grew cold, but the cup stayed warm. Sometimes the past doesn't hurt, it just sits beside you quietly. A bird landed, shook its feathers, and watched me like it remembered. I whispered, it's okay now, and meant it. The rain didn't stop, but I no longer waited for it to. The rooftop didn't leak, but my heart let a little light in. I reached for the paper airplane, but left it untouched. Some memories are better as they are, still soft and rainy. The grass swayed gently beneath a violet sky, each blade humming a soft farewell. Fireflies danced in patterns I couldn't understand, but somehow I felt known. I stepped lightly, afraid to wake the peace. The air was still, but carried the sound of distant stars. A tree stood in the center, its bark glowed with stories untold. Beneath it she sat, the girl from the Cloudhouse, She didn't look up, yet she smiled like I was expected. found consolations. They drifted in slow spirals like time unraveling. We watched in quiet wonder, no questions, no explanations. She handed me a folded letter, the paper soft with age. It had no ink, but my name was written in light. We breathed in rhythm, two strangers sharing the same stillness. She pointed up where the stars blinked, not out of habit, but in greeting. A soft breeze passed, carrying nothing and everything. The fireflies settled in the grass, their glow never fading, only resting. She reached for my hand, not to hold, just to let it be near. Her eyes held stories, mine held acceptance. I heard a song with no melody, but it filled me. The world slowed like it remembered what peace felt like. We watched unbloom in silence. The sun didn't rise, it unfolded. The sky turned gold, but not loudly. She stood not to leave, but to return to where she belonged. I remained, not waiting, just present. The tree shimmered with quiet, its branches cradled the last of night. The fireflies began to dim, not vanishing, just dreaming. And I finally understood, some places are not found, they are offered when you're ready to sit and listen.